Hey everyone, it's the Manga Viewer, and today we'll be talking about what will happen in chapter 308 of My Hero Academia. But before I get into the video, I want to explain a little bit of a situation that occurred on the My Hero Academia fandom that made a lot of people worried and scared and stuff like that. So I want to explain it real quick. We saw in chapter 306 that Horikoshi Sensei himself confirmed that the story is entering the final arc. So, I just want to say what the editor of Horikoshi Sensei have said, since they have made a meeting, like last week or something. So I want to just get into a little bit of details here and there to explain the whole situation. It's true that the My Hero Academia is entering the final arc, and we know that in Shonen Jump, when a story enters the final arc, it gets really long. So he says, we don't know how long it will be, so it's not confirmed like it will end like this month or next month or something. So it might end like in 2-3 years, we don't know. But we know that it's entering the final arc, which basically confirms the theory that I said in my one of the last videos that I made. So basically, My Hero Academia is entering the final arc. We don't know how long it will be, but he said it will sure get more exciting and more interesting, and Horikoshi Sensei himself is getting more interesting with the story and more creative with it. So that's what basically sums up the whole interview with the editor of Horikoshi Sensei. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the next chapter and what will happen. So the last chapter was just like really crazy, and by the way, spoiler warning, if you aren't caught up with the manga, proceed with your own caution, you have been warned. Basically, we saw Deku just going all badass on Muscular and just like slapping him away to the wall, which was really cool, just like casual punch, and he's just like sent him through the wall, which was really cool. So we saw him just like getting there all badass and wearing the hoodie that he used not to wear to not look like All Might, since it will make some suspiciousness between him and the students. So that was really cool of Deku just doing that. So basically, what will happen next? And there is actually a lot of Easter eggs that I thought you guys might have missed, so I want just to tell you about them. First of all, if you see the smoke approaches around Deku, I think that's a really cool link between it and the 6th user quirk and smoke. Since the 6th user quirk name have in the kanji, I think it has some resemblance of the word smoke. So I think that's a really cool detail that Horikoshi Sensei have added. Also, another thing that you might have missed, and if you look at the last panel, okay, and combine it with the first season, like first episode, where Deku was watching All Might saving the citizens, it actually resembles the same pose, except Deku is using his right leg and All Might using his left. And the difference is, All Might was smiling and Deku is not. So that's a really huge, cool Easter egg that Horikoshi Sensei is putting. Like, imagine 300 chapters away from now, like years ago, and now it's resembling the same pose. It's just really cool to think about it, how much the creator actually put those details in. So that was like the details that I have noticed that you might have not missed. What will happen next? So my theory is, Deku have actually unlocked all the quirks in One For All. And why is that? Since he was in One For All, the first user told the second and the third user, hey, why not we cooperate all of us so we can unlock the full power of One For All. So they probably have explained their past, they probably have talked about what will happen, what happened to them in the past, and that like made them actually like give their quirks or like unlock their quirks for Deku. And we know that Deku has now a better understanding of One For All and the users, and have a much strong boundary than he used to be, since he's talked with them, he knows their backstory and everything. So I think now his quirks are actually like much stronger than they were, since, you know, it has something to do with the feeling, I think. And I think that Deku, when he will defeat Muscular, it's going to be more of a technique fight, not like in a raw strength fight. And the reason for that is, we know that Deku's arms aren't fully healed. The bandages actually resemble that. It might not be like a bandage, it might be a gauntlet, like the Melissa one that she made. That would be really cool. But yeah, I think it will be more of a technique fight, as Deku uses the whole quirks of One For All to defeat Muscular in a really fast, technical way to minimize the damage and everything, since there's buildings around him and there's citizens around him. So I think that's a really cool thing to think about. Another cool thing that it's true that Deku will fight against Muscular. He might win against him, he might be winning, and then, you know, other villains will come up. But anyway, let's say he defeated Muscular. What will happen next? He will disappear immediately, because he don't want anyone to recognize him. He doesn't want this media recognition, since we know that a lot of media asking for One For All, what's going on, and everything, like they are really confused about it. So he doesn't want the media attention. He just wants to save people, since he's using Danger Sense quirk, and now then he's using the Danger Sense quirk, it will be easier even to defeat more villains, since he can predict where the punch is coming from and where the danger is coming from, so he can avoid it immediately. Another thing that I think is cool to think about is that Deku will use the second and the third user quirk of One For All. How is this going to happen? I think it's more of like, in the fight he will use them, like we will get introduced to them as he's fighting Muscular. So it will be a really cool parallel, and people won't recognize him since he's using like different quirks and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. Another thing that could happen, I think the chapter might actually shift to another, like different characters, maybe like Bakugo and Kuroshige, maybe Bakugo and Shoto, maybe like it will shift to the villains, maybe it will like show Shigaraki like actually sensing some stuff. Maybe he will say like to the villains, let's go and you know, defeat the citizens or something. Maybe they have like made a plan and divided everyone into groups, and everyone is like going to other places to fight or like you know, destroy citizens building and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. Another thing that's really cool is that now we saw like Shindo actually being in the third year. So that's mean that the first class of 1A have actually now progressed to class 2A, which is really cool. So it doesn't mean that a year has passed. Let me clarify this. It's not a year that have passed, it's just more of like a month or like maybe more or less. Why is that? Because first, already like the class 1A was already like in the whole My Hero Academia was in the school, and winter have passed and stuff like that. And the heroes have gone into March, I think, into the war arc. So it's been a month or something. That's why it's looked like they are progressed to the third year. So that doesn't mean they are like in like a year have passed or something. So that was just a clarification. Anyway, that's just my theory. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the people that have joined my channel. It really does mean a lot. It really warms my heart. I will continue moving forward, and I will go beyond Plus Ultra every time. Thank you guys so much for the support. Don't forget, this is just a theory, so it might be wrong, it might be right, but hopefully it's right. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you like my content, feel free to join the channel. I have been the Manga Viewer, and I will see you all next time.